I am a little bit sad working on this tree, knowing that I'm destroying the home of a bunch of these animals out here. With this little lizard right here. He's kind of fat or pregnant. Looks like he might have just ate another lizard or something. And he's like really fat. But he's going to lose his home here in a minute. Not a minute, but soon. As I continue working on it. At one time this whole area, this root side was green and had leaves and branches and it was still growing, but I've destroyed it. And I know the squirrels, look at the squirrel right there. They still use the tree. I don't know if you can see the squirrel in the bush there running across. See the bushes moving? That is a squirrel hopping over there. Right there, our squirrel friend. He's still climbing up there into the tree and the branches. And I'm going to be taking all that down. So there is a little bit of sadness for me as I proceed to work on the tree, because I know I'm destroying their, I guess, their habitat. But, you know, the tree certainly can't be left like this. So it's one of those things that's got to be done, although when I do it, I know fully well that I'm destroying a bunch of homes. And having lost my own home, you know, it does affect me. I know some of you think I'm crazy to care about these little bugs and lizards and the squirrel, but this is their home I'm actually destroying. And if we were out in the wilds and stuff, I'd leave it be. But because we're in a city with housing and neighbors and whatnot, and this is, you know, Walter's yard, I'm going to do what I need to do, which means working on this tree. At the end of today's wrap-up, I thought you guys might be interested in seeing what the tree currently looks like. There goes the dogs. The owner just called them. You see how fast they can run? Wow. I guess it's dinner time for them or something. When they want to run, they can really run. That's really scary, actually. I saw them bolt so fast. Anyhow, I've continued to trim more leaves, and not leaves, but root. That's what I kind of worked on today. And you can see we've punched holes through, so that's going to allow me to start to cut. I do still need to get rid of all this sand here, because this is very dangerous. Sand and dirt. Might have to buy a hose and try to get water back here to spray this down. I noticed that certain branches or twigs and roots were harder to cut than others. I guess if it's wet, if it's still alive, it makes it really hard to cut, and if it's totally dried out, it cuts through a lot easier. That's what seemed to be happening. But you can see we've got like the side mostly done, and the top we took off about another 1.5 to 2 feet. So you would think you could just go and cut across, but that's not how it works. At least that's not what I'm finding. These branches are too thick. I think they would be even too thick for the chainsaw. And not having a stable platform to stand on makes it extremely dangerous. So I definitely don't want to be up there with my chainsaw. All I need to do is fall down, right? That thing's gas powered. So I'm going to continue to work a little bit on the branches and just try to trim out a little bit at a time, and work it down. Then I'm going to start heading the leaves up there and the branches and start to clear that out. I may even clear this area down here, because this is it's like a little jungle back here. So all this has to be cleared out. But you can see how thick that really is. That's about 3.5, 4 feet diameter. Not diameter, but width. I guess it's diameter. Look at that little lizard. Damn. So these little fellas are going to have to find a new home. At least I'm moving slow enough that they have enough time to move. So they can see what's coming. They're not like idiots. I don't think they'll stand and just wait for me to chop it down with them on it. I think they hop off as I continue to do the work, and hopefully they can find a new spot. But it's a slow process, because you can see all this dirt and stuff here has to be cleared out. I try to dig out the dirt before I cut through, and it's just slow. Just very slow. And somewhat depressing, you know. It's like you feel like you're doing all this prep work removing dirt here, but you're not getting anywhere. I mean, that's what it looks like and feels like when you look after you do all this stuff. But cleaning out this dirt is important, because without that, the saw will get stuck and broken and dull, and also rocks can fly up and hit me. So I've been trying to clear out as much dirt as I can before I start actually cutting, because, and even something like this, I think it might be my test area for using the chainsaw. It might be a good spot to test out, learn how to use the chainsaw. Well, you know, I'm still on the ground. I don't think I'm going to climb up in the tree and use the chainsaw. That's just too dangerous after falling the other day. Actually, it wasn't even the other day, it was just earlier today. But I think when I'm using the chainsaw, I definitely want to be on solid ground and not climbing up in the tree using the chainsaw. That might be a little bit foolish. Well, this is what it looks like at the end of today. And those of you who were wondering, I'd say it has been trimmed back quite a bit. Looks a lot different than it did when I first started a few months ago, actually.